kind of 4 years of training have figured out the best way to train, in my opinion, is to train harder but train less. I made 5.5K in August. Now I'm fortunate position to have 100,000 followers on Instagram, 200,000 on TikTok, which sometimes it doesn't feel real to me. You have to learn how to fucking sell. If you don't know how to sell, you're fucked. My mindset kind of fucks me up thinking that I can't accomplish something. So once I do it, then it's like, okay, I can do more. It was like a moment where I think my dad came to visit me at school, and he didn't take care of his health, and he was unhappy with himself. When I saw that in him, I saw something that was kind of lived life with regret. And I kind of knew, like, okay, if I don't go back to this, I'm gonna live a life of regret. If you want to do something fucking remarkable, you want to leave a legacy behind, sometimes you gotta make the tough decision. When I was sick and I was at my mom's house, and this is the last time I really got angry, and I kind of like threatened to like hit her. It was bad, and she cried. And once that happened, like that kind of shut that off.
Yeah, you were like, whoa.
Yeah, I gotta keep this in check. If you're angry, are you yelling at somebody? Are you fucking going to the gym?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can only put that emotion to something. You should put it into something positive. Like, okay, if you're sad, are you gonna cry to somebody about your feelings, or are you gonna do something, feel sad about, but do fucking work? Like you can choose what you do with the emotion that you have, but you just gotta fucking do it. I think because my dad was very emotional. He took a lot of emotion out of my mom, so I try to be as stoic as possible. My mom and my dad were going through a very tough divorce. Like it was at a point where my dad was like trying to get back into the house. It was a girl that rejected me. Like that also really fucking light the fire that was kind of dying a little bit. I gotta find new ways to get my anger out. I feel like fighting could be one of them. I want to walk into the classroom and know I look the best and I get the best grades. And make the most money.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, bro.
I'm fired up, guys, and appreciate you having me on. We're definitely gonna chop it up.
Yeah, man, I'm doing great.
And welcome back, and welcome back, and welcome back to the Growth Street Podcast. More about who is Charlie? Where did this huge following come from? Where did this passion for bodybuilding come from? And I just want to get to know who Charlie the person is, behind the phone screen.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think this whole kind of journey just started when COVID hit. Like when COVID hit, lockdown was in session, all we pretty much we're just stuck in the house. We're stuck in the house, and for me, I was just playing video games with the boys. We're playing Warzone, and after a while, it just got boring. And fortunately enough for me, I had a home gym in my childhood house that I never used. So I was like, fuck it. One day, I think it was like March. Like one day, I was like, fuck it, let me just go train. And ever since then, like that day when I first hit the gym, it was like, this is so fucking fun. Just like knowing that I'm getting better, getting stronger, and then the next time I'm trying to progress, I'm trying to get stronger. And that's just like, end of the day, like that's just like how you're supposed to do. Like you're just supposed to get stronger and stronger, better and better every single day. And I feel like that kind of the first lesson that I've learned in terms of just trying to get better every day.
Yeah, and I think, where does that come from for you? Because I don't think everyone, for example, I'm sure I picked up, weights a lot of times. So for me, it's never clicked into this almost like an obsession for you, right? So for you, what was the reason why it clicked for you so naturally? And for one, I mean, like I'm looking at you right now, right? You've been in the gym, you've been in the lab, and it's been 4 years now since COVID.
Yeah.
So what was a moment for you that really took it, I guess? Like how did you kind of tap into that kind of mindset?
I think going to school, I think when I went away to school, I went because I'm originally from New Jersey. I moved to South Carolina to go to college at Clemson and majored in accounting. And when I went there, I just didn't fit in. I was like really alone. And I think just being alone, and I always tell people this because so many people are just never comfortable with being alone, but I feel like you really fucking find yourself when you're alone. And for me, when I was alone at Clemson, like I really kind of dug deep, found myself, and just, went after what I wanted to go after. Yeah,
and it's hard, man. Like even for me, I went to University of Maryland by myself, right? Like I'm similar to you where I'm sure when you went to Clemson, hours and hours away, you can't just drive home every weekend.
No.
You are kind of by yourself. And it's not like you don't have your high school friends with you. Your family's not with you. It's you and your thoughts. And I think, again, you have to go through that to get to the, a successful place. But it's not that easy. You kind of figure out like, okay, this is what's not working for me. This is what I'm really struggling with, and how can I actually make it better? So for me, man, dude, my first year, I was the most unhealthy I've ever been mentally, physically, went through a tough breakup. I was going through the ringer myself. So when I hear that was almost like a kind of a spark for you and your growth, it makes total sense to me.
No, at the end of the day, like I always tell people, like everyone's they want to be with somebody all the time. Like even if like the guy wants to have a girlfriend, which is great, but like if you are not comfortable with being by yourself and you don't really know who you are, it's very hard to be successful at what you want to do.
Yeah. So when you were down there, who'd you find yourself to be?
I just found myself to be this disciplined motherfucker, and I really dug deep and found the amount of discipline that I knew I always had. Because in high school, I played sports. I wasn't disciplined, but I did play sports. I knew I had it in me, but I just never fucking did it. But like when I was in Clemson, like that was when I was like, okay, I have this in me. Let's fucking go after something.
Yeah, and I think the sports background makes it, I think, it gives you a really good foundation, especially I think too, because you're used to going to practice every day. You're used to doing at least like not the bare minimum, but still like a certain level of excellence that you have to hold of yourself to a certain standard, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think, some people might not have played sports, may not have had the extra club, may not even like really cared in school. But I think everyone at some point has tried for something, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that you have to kind of like find that mindset in that space to where, okay, I have this ability to focus on it here. How can I focus on it what really matters to me? And that's where I'm kind of confused because I'm really, when you're in the school and you're kind of, again, by yourself figuring it out, what made, the gym and bodybuilding the thing for you compared to maybe getting a 4.0 GPA or maybe getting compared to...
Well, see...
I'm curious.
That's the thing. I try to do my best to maximize everything. So, like, for me, my main goal was, yes, get as big as possible, but be the fucking student that gets the best grades and also looks the best.
Okay.
That was my mindset.
Yeah, how did you go about doing that? When you were there, what was it like from going there, you're alone, dropped in South Carolina? How did you take being alone there to turning that into becoming this perfect self?
Well, I'm fortunate enough that I was always good at being alone. Like I act like when COVID hit, I was low key kind of thankful for it because now I don't have to be surrounded by people all the time.
Yeah.
So when that hit, and then when I got to Clemson, it was easier because I was just alone.
Yeah.
So when that hit, it just like everything just came into place, and I kind of just locked in with school, with my bodybuilding. At the time, I wasn't making money in terms of my, but I was just started kind of posting on Instagram because that was when I first started back in October of 2020, which was 1 month into my freshman year.
Okay. So COVID hit during your freshman year or the
No,
year
COVID hit during my
before?
senior year of high school.
Okay, gotcha. So then now you're in Clemson, right? And now you're building the social media page. Let's talk about that for a second because on Instagram, you have nearly 100K on there.
Yeah.
And TikTok, how many do you have again on TikTok?
Well, I have 200,000 on TikTok, but I don't post on TikTok anymore.
Yeah. Okay, how come?
I dislike that app entirely because I just feel like it's just made to keep people enslaved on that stupid fucking app. So I kind of get away from it.
Yeah. So now you're on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you're posting daily. You're posting a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you? Because again, most people, right? I know even some of my best friends. I'm sure you know Devin and Rocky, right? They're in the gym. I know Devin, especially him and his brother, are really into the gym too. And not everyone is super, big on posting everything online and not necessarily showing off, but being an inspiration and kind of showcasing who they are and their journey and their development. Why did you decide to take that angle, and how did you kind of build this whole social media brand around yourself?
See, I first started this because when I was a freshman in college, I was looking at, I was on Instagram and I was seeing some people post their physique and I was like, damn, that looks pretty cool to do. I wonder how they can do this. So off the rip, I just, because I'm always somebody that's like, okay, if I want to do something, I'm just going to do it. I don't care if I make a fool of myself. I don't care if it's cringe. I'm just going to do it. Whatever happens, happens. So those first initial posts were kind of fucking weird, but I kept doing it. And, now I'm fortunate position to, have 100,000 followers on Instagram, which, sometimes it doesn't feel real to me. Like it's funny because I always like have conversations with the people that care about me. It's like I have done so much, but sometimes I just feel like I haven't done it all. You're
always hungry for something more.
Yeah.
And that's why it's fascinating because think about it, right? Clemson has about 30, 40,000 students. Rutgers has another 40,000.
Yeah.
You can combine those schools together.
Yeah.
And you have more followers on Instagram than those two schools combined.
Yeah.
Like that must be a crazy realization for you to have.
It is, but again, like there's always something more to be done.
Always. And what is that for you right now?
For me right now, that's to max as best as possible, maximize my coaching business while graduating school.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about this coaching business then, because for me, I actually do coaching myself with career. So basically what Growth Street is I help students or kind of young professionals figure out for themselves, okay, what is my next step? Whether it's being an entrepreneur, whether it's getting an amazing corporate job. I really want to help people get to their next step, whether you're a freshman in college who needs to build a damn LinkedIn, or whether you're a senior who wants to go work for, BNY Mellon in New York City, right? So for you, how did you kind of get into coaching? What has that been like? And how has that been a business for you? I'm really curious.
So I got into coaching because I wanted to start making money off Instagram because I was at that time, which was May of 2023. I was posting on Instagram. I almost had 100,000 followers, but I never made any money off of it. I was just, I gained my following. So I was really kind of like looking for a way to kind of monetize off this.
Yeah, of course.
So I ran into I knew people were like doing online coaching. So I kind of searched up a YouTube video saying like how to do it in general, which I came across a great kind of online coaching program, which, I put a hefty amount of investment into it. But again, I believed in myself that I can do this. And it took me a little bit, but after a while, I started getting really good, especially with the sales part. Because as a coach, online coach, and a lot of coaches don't know this, but like it's not just you trying to be a good coach for your clients, but you have to learn how to fucking sell. If you don't know how to sell, you're fucked. I want to walk into the classroom and know I look the best and I get the best grades. And make the most money. So
I need to know where this comes from, man. Like
I don't know.
Was there like a moment where you had like what was this kind of, I don't think any, like, most people when they're like 6, 7, 8 years old, they're not born thinking this way. And I think it's an amazing mindset you have, because if everyone had this mindset, fucking the world would probably, we have like flying cars by now, right? So I'm curious, like, really tell me, where does this come from? Because I'm fascinated, genuinely.
Honestly, I have no idea. Like I said, like once COVID hit, like I became different. Like,
Yeah, was it a hard time? Is that what made it different?
it wasn't.
Like,
I mean, I guess maybe it was a hard time because, you know, my mom and my dad were going through a very tough divorce. Like, it was at a point where, like, you know, my dad was like trying to, like, you know, get back into the house. It was like really kind of weird vibes. But at the end of the day, that's not what kind of got me like into this kind of locked in mindset. I just think, like, with the whole being isolated, really finding myself, that's just how it happened.
Yeah.
And recently too, like, you know, a girl that rejected me, like, that also really fucking light the fire that was kind of dying a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's really those champions. Like, I'm sure I don't know if you watched The Last Dance by Michael Jordan.
Yep.
But it's finding even the littlest flame to keep your fire going.
Yeah.
So whether it's the girl who rejected you, or whether it's, you know, this heavier thing, which is your parents going through whatever they're going through, or whether it's you getting a fucking bad grade on a test, whatever keeps you going to that next step, I feel like is what takes not the average person, but someone who's successful to who's really going to be successful. Yeah. That's why it's fascinating, right? Like, how do you, like, what's like some of these things that makes you go, like, how do you get this motivation from? Where does it come from?
Because, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, like, they kind of shy away from the rejection. They shy away from the, just like that.
It's hard.
The feeling of humiliation kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like, all these people that are successful, they've gone through shit. You've never, you can't find one successful person that has not gone through the fucking ups and not gone through the fucking downs. Like,
it's impossible.
It's not gonna happen because you can't become the best version of yourself unless you go through the fucking shittier things in general.
No, I call it seeking discomfort. I think I used to watch this YouTube channel when I was like, I would say my senior year of high school to my sophomore year of college, and they're called Yes Theory. Yeah. They're still making videos right now, and their whole thing was they push themselves to their limits. Not just physically or mentally, but by doing random things that they thought they couldn't do. That would put themselves in uncomfortable situations. Whether it's, you know, flying to Australia with no money and trying to, like, figure out how they can live there for a month. Things like this, where they're putting themselves in, like, really challenging situations to find themselves. Even for me, right? I think when I was graduating college, I had the opportunity to go, you know, come back home to New Jersey, work out of here, we'll go to the New York office. I had a chance to go to San Francisco, a place I'd never been to before. Even when I went to Maryland, like, you went to Clemson, right?
Yep.
For me, is how can I put myself in an uncomfortable position, because that's how I grow the most. Even me right now, man, I left a $90,000 a year job working for LinkedIn and tech after college. I had a cool ass apartment, bro, 45th floor, you know, on the river. I'm like, oh my God, on paper it looks so cool. But, you know, I said, fuck it, man. So now I'm doing this whole thing. And again, everyone has a different risk in their own life. But this was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, man. You know, to swallow my pride, like this ego, come back home, live in my parents' basement, and really try to build a business from nothing. It's one of those things where that's how I know I'm growing the right way, because I've probably grown more in the last year than I ever have in my entire life, purely because I'm subjecting myself to a challenge of running a business.
No, it all comes down to you want to be good, you want to be great. Like, if you want to be good, like, again, like, it's fine. You want to work a great job, you know, make 6 figures a year, that's fine. But like, if you want to do something fucking remarkable, you want to leave a legacy behind, sometimes you got to make the tough decision.
You're not going to get any clients at all.
You're not going to get any clients.
You won't make money. I don't care how good of a coach you are. If no one knows that you're coaching or you can't get a client, how are you going to get money?
Yes, selling is literally, like, because for me, I have my business coach. He tells me that selling is like literally 90% of, you know, being successful with online coaching. So at the end of the day, am I at a spot where I want to be with, you know, maximizing my revenue with coaching? No, but I am, like, over the summer, because I was doing it full time, I was doing fucking great. And, you know, when school kind of hit,
it's tougher now.
It's tougher now because I can't put my focus to everything I want to, but I can't. So
And do you feel like, again, I just want to learn more about this coaching thing, right? So when you launch this thing, now you have 100,000 followers, right? Now you know you have this audience base. What is the first, like, you went to watch YouTube videos, yes, but how did you actually go about and create it? Because I think some people watching right now, they want to be who you are, right? I'm really passionate about the specific topic. I'm kicking ass. I'm getting followers now. Now, how do I make this a business? So someone who's watching, you know, what were the actual, like, kind of steps that you took? Because I'm trying to figure out for myself. But also I think people watching at home want to see, all right, this is how a person who has a following created turned a social media account into a actual revenue earning business. What was that like for you?
I think the best advice I can give is literally go to someone that is doing it and seek their mentorship.
So how'd you do it?
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
There's this guy named Zach Colbert on Instagram. He's got it's called the Personal Trainer Business Incubator, and it's literally will tell you everything you need to know about how to be a successful online fitness coach.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to. So if you want to, it's not even online coaching, with whatever, like if you want to be successful with something, go to somebody that has done it, invest into them, and they'll teach you the ways.
Okay, so for you, it's like finding kind of someone who's just in your steps.
Yes.
A few steps ahead.
Yes.
Then now it's like, okay, I literally was in your shoes. Here's how you go and do it.
That's one of the main kind of ways I sell myself as a coach, because a lot of these people come to me and they say they want to like look like me, they want to be on this path that I'm on, and I pretty much tell them, okay, so invest into somebody that's that's been where you want to be.
Yeah, yeah. And are a lot of your clients older, younger, students?
So
I'm curious.
Most of the people I work with are between like 18 and 22.
Okay.
I am working with a 73-year-old right now.
Yo, you're kidding.
It was funny because like I was low-key maybe not want to take him on because like that's uncomfortable for me because I only coach like 18, 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
But he was really trying to sell him to me. Like he was selling himself to me. Was kind of, which is weird because usually as a coach you kind of sell your services.
Yeah.
But he was trying to sell himself to me, so I was like, you know what? Let me try this, and he's doing fucking great. Like, it's actually really easy to work with him. Like he's 73, but he's big. Like he's like 6'3", 260.
Wow.
He's a big motherfucker.
He's a unit.
Yeah, no, he's fucking huge.
That's crazy, man. And when it comes to coaching, right? I mean, again, like when you really think about it, we're all still young, right? You're 22 years old. How do you approach coaching? How is it something where do you focus on it more of like one-on-one? Is it a group thing? Like how do you go about it?
The way I do it's more one-on-one, really personalized. And one of the things that I do with my coaching that I try, because again, like there's so many fucking coaches, so you have to really, I guess, stand out in a way. And obviously when you build up your brand, it makes it a little bit easier to stand out.
Yeah, of course.
But like for me, like really making sure that everyone has the best locked in mindset possible. That's something I'm really kind of like helping people. Because yes, we want to transform physically, but I always say it's like if you are not locked in mentally, it's gonna be very hard for you to kind of transform your body physically. Yeah. So that's like the main thing. It's just like having that best locked in mindset possible.
Yeah, I think that it's makes me think, because I think that kind of applies to everything in life. I feel like if you can't be dialed into whatever it is, it's always tough, right? Like I think, especially the good thing about coaching is that people have money put down. I mean, I'm sure it's paid, right? So then you have to, now that you're financially invested into something, you have to take it more serious, right? Whether it comes to career coaching, whether it comes to, let's say you want to play basketball, right? Let's say you want to be the best basketball player in the country, you want to be the #1 overall draft pick. If you have a free coach at the rec center, you'll get better. Yeah. If you pay $200 a month for an ex Division I basketball player to coach you, inherently you can assume you'll actually not just get better from that coach, but you'll actually be more invested mentally into that because you're physically invested into it.
Yes, and also when you actually put money down into a coach, that's going to make you want to do it even more. Because when I first started out, and I always tell people that are trying to start out coaching, take clients on for free. Because at the end of the day, like you don't really know if you can do it or not. So take on free clients, see what you can do, and then utilize their testimonials and their progress as a way to market your services. But at the end of the day, the people that you take on for free, they're not going to be as obligated to do the things that they need to do because they haven't put anything into the program. Yeah. So that's why I always tell people, if you're going to invest into someone, invest in your own money into the program so you feel more obligated to do the things that you should be doing.
Yeah, and is that how you started? You started doing it for free, and then you found out, oh shit, I don't know if this was really working, or did you kind of start it off paid because you already had a following?
Well, I started off paid, but like at the end of the day, I wanted to just have more clients to see how this works in general. Yeah. So I just took on some free people, and that really helped me because I got a good amount of progress pictures from them, some testimonials from them as well. Yeah. So it's really helped market the business in general.
Yeah, and I think again, if people see, I took on 5 clients and this is how the 5 of them are doing now, they want to be number 6, number 7, number 8, especially early on while you're still almost like building this reputation and this brand, and they want to be kind of associated to you from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like some of the people that, I signed somebody, my second client back in May 2023. I still work with him today. Yeah. So so some of these guys, obviously your plan as a coach is to try to sign these people for long term. Like
that's what I'm curious about. Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, like the way I sell my program, I start off a 3-month program, but like my goal in my head is, okay, I'm not signing these guys for 3 months, I'm signing these guys for a year. So you kind of have to use some psychology to make sure that they're like, staying with you for long term.
Yeah. And what does like a normal program look like? Is it like 2 months, 6 months, a year? Like how do you go about building this whole Charlie program out? What is it also called? So as people can watch and go look at it, man.
So now it's called Next Level Gains. It was called Rubino Coaching, but then over the summer, I spent a lot of time building out a course, rebranding the whole kind of business to make it more of a legitimate business. So
Yeah.
it's called Next Level Gains now.
Okay, and how is it like? How is it going in terms of client size? Like, how is it going? Because I know you're a student.
Yeah.
So you have
So-
and also the classes you're taking are crazy
they're-
level classes, physics,
yeah.
human anatomy, all these different extra science majors
Yeah.
things, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, tell me about how the whole business is going right now.
Yeah, so right now I'm only working with 15 people right now, just
Okay.
because it's very hard for me to take on as many people as possible. Totally, I've worked with 60 different people.
Okay.
Which I want to obviously my goal is to get that up to 100.
And I'm sure you'll get there.
Yeah,
man,
I will get there. Just need to fucking graduate.
Yeah.
But,
And you're almost there.
Yeah, but these classes, yeah, they're tough. I mean, taking system physiology, physics, like it's not like accounting classes. It's not like bullshit classes. Like these are
Yeah.
classes where you have to put like 2 hours a day into them.
Yeah.
Especially at Rutgers. Rutgers is a very hard school for no reason, but it's a hard school. But you have to put some time into these classes because if
Yeah.
you don't, like, I'm somebody that when I get a bad grade, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
So like I can't get a bad grade.
So you have to, even though you don't care about the class, you still for your own sake have to get a good
It's for my ego because again,
Yeah, and I think
and for you, that was just like again, people kill for a $9,000 a year job.
Yep.
But you were like, fuck it, I want this because I want to be great.
I think I can do whatever my potential is in my head, and I really do believe, whether it's a job, whether it's entrepreneurship, whatever you're doing in life, I hope every person has a chance to think that it can be one of one.
Of course.
And the hard part about that, though, is in reality, life pulls you in so many different directions, right? Whether it's family, whether it's finances, whether it's personal, you have to survive, whether it's all these different things, whether it's just distractions.
Yeah.
For you, right, you have school, you have your business, you have actual being able to coach, you have your own fitness and health that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these different things pulling your mind apart. How do you even prioritize different things? Because you want to look the best, be the best, be this, all these things, but you're being pulled in a million different directions, right? You have to build a course, build a business, actually build your own body.
Yeah.
You have to do all these things. How do you do it?
It's hard. I mean, like, end of the day, you can only put your focus and energy into so many things. So pretty much like that's all I do. Like I don't distract myself with even watching sports. I used to watch a lot of sports. I used to watch a lot of shows.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm trying to do a better job because I have to do a better job of kind of de-stressing a little bit, finding that balance between being locked in, but also kind of doing something else that's not going to have me locked in.
Yeah.
So, but I used to watch a lot of sports. I can't do that anymore because
Yeah.
I can only put my time and energy into so many things.
Yeah.
And also too, having a girlfriend as well. Again, it's just more things to add, and it's hard, but those are the main priorities, and those are the things that I want to go after.
Yeah, I think so. I want to know, what does your day look like then? So you wake up. What's an average day in the life?
I mean, yeah. So tomorrow, so I have 2 classes tomorrow. So one at 10:20, one at 2 o'clock. So I'll be up at 8 a.m. I got to drive from my girl's apartment back to Rutgers, and then I'm gonna go to class. Then I have to study one of my system physiology lectures from Friday, and then I have my physics 2 o'clock class, and then after physics, I'm going to the gym. Then after the gym, I'll probably study the physics lecture that I did on Monday.
Yeah.
And then before I go to bed, I'll probably make a piece of content.
Okay, gotcha. Then where does coaching fall into all this as well?
So the way I do coaching is, so I have weekly check-in calls.
Okay.
So that's done on the weekend. So those are Saturday and Sunday. Those are on the weekend.
Okay.
So basically with coaching during the week, what I basically just do is just check in briefly. There's an app where they do all the workouts and I see everything. It's an app called Trainerize. And I kind of just go through that. It only takes me 20 minutes. And I just kind of go through that every single day to make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it's pretty much it. Just class, studying, gym, making content, coaching the people that I'm coaching, making time for my girl.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and somehow you keep doing it. Because I think
Yeah.
in my mind, when it comes to doing the whole business stuff, man, for me, I feel like it takes all day, every day.
Yeah.
So, and it's fascinating because, again, for me, I'm still in this kind of startup, trying to figure it out phase where it's the first year. I think the big focus for us now is, one, building this content space, actually providing good value and real value and growing that audience.
Yeah.
But also, delivering real value in person if the cameras were off. How can we, if your coaching thing, let's say you had no social media, I'm sure you'd still want to focus on your coaching, your clients, and make sure they're actually progressing the way they want to do it. So it's really those two things for me.
Yeah.
And I'm really fascinated because for you have this business now, but you don't even have the time in the day to spend more than a few hours on it, other than creating the content for the weekdays at least. So how do you feel like you can grow this business in your mind when you don't really have the time, and how have you done it successful so far?
See, for me, I'm lucky enough when I started this business, I did have a big following. Most people, they start from scratch. Like,
Yeah.
which is fucking great. You're starting from scratch.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's hard when you start from scratch.
harder, for sure.
I was fortunate enough to already have that following. Again, I worked for that following, but I already had it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of easier to find clients because, people were interested in coaching to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's easier to just find more people. So if I wanted to, I can just say, okay, fuck it. Let me just go in the DMs for a little bit and just, find more people.
Yeah.
I can sign 2 or 3 people per week because
Yeah.
I know I can do it because I did it in August and I've done it when I don't have school because I have all the time to do it.
Yeah.
So for me right now, my main focus is not signing as many people as possible. It's just providing the best service possible to the people that actually pay me right now.
And what do you think they value in you? That makes it so amazing.
I think for me, for my ability in terms of giving them the best locked in mindset, but also just being their boy too.
Yeah.
So
That's fire.
I really feel like so many coaches, they just act like the superior. And which is, again, like you want to be a coach, you want to be professional, you want to give the person accountability when they need it. But like at the end of the day, like you got to be their friend because they're going through shit that's going to affect their gym progress. And if you can't connect with them, they're not going to maximize their progress.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I work with people that are my age because I can connect with them better.
Yeah.
Because we're going through similar situations. We all are.
I think that's so true because I think even a lot of the times when I always think about at least the gym experience, when most people go for the first time, whether it's myself, my brother, whoever I know, that's even like Devin and Danny and Rocky, all them, right? It's like you go, but you always want to have, like when you first go, someone like a buddy to do it with because it's just a little easier that way.
For sure.
So there's obviously that where you're being that friend to them. How does that go, Beal? Because again, you said it yourself. You're more of a little isolated person.
Yeah.
But you also have to build these bonds with all these people.
Yeah.
So how was that balance like?
I feel like for me, when I need to like become that extrovert that I need to become, I pick and choose my kind of my moments because most of the time I'm introverted. Like I want to be kind of to myself, doing my thing. But when I need to, because at the end of the day, if you can't be that extrovert, like us doing the podcast, like if you can't put yourself out there, you're never gonna see success. Yeah. So you have to kind of say fuck it. If you're an introvert, like okay, fuck it, let me put myself out there. So I think I do a really good job of kind of balancing out being by myself, but also putting myself out there as well.
Yeah. No, I think again, like it's a lot of self-awareness when it comes down to, because again, if you know that you have to do this, like I don't think you're forcing yourself to, but almost like you want to do it.
Yeah.
So and for you it's natural because it's what you're passionate about too. And I think I want to talk about the other thing that makes them attractive to you too, because when I think about, okay, if I wanted a client, I would want someone who's objectively like doing what I want to do. And let's be real, man, you're fucking jacked. Yeah. So I want you to talk about your accomplishments, kind of like just kind of like who you are physically. That makes it attractive to, because I don't know all the numbers about, what it looks like, but I'm sure all of our viewers watching at home, those who are your followers right now who are tuned in, tell me more about you, your physique, what you're doing right now, because I'm sure that's just as attractive as, what your, kind of the relationships that you build as well.
No, for sure. I've signed a lot of people because of the way I look. A lot of people want to look like me. And I every time people say that, like, it's just like, I don't know, like all I gotta tell you is you gotta put in the work, gotta lock in and do what you need to do. Yeah. And like for me physically, like I'm only training 4 or 5 days per week. Okay. Because I've kind of 4 years of training have figured out the best way to train, in my opinion, is to train harder but train less. Because what you really want to focus on is just maximizing the intensity of your gym sessions in general. And a lot of people kind of do a lot of junk volume, like they do a lot of 4 sets of 12, and just kind of going through the motions, just trying to get the pump. Which again is fun. If you enjoy that, then keep doing that. But like if you really want to get bigger, you want to look like some of these people that you see on social media, then you have to make sure that you train with intensity. Yeah. And you can't kind of bitch around your sessions.
So tell me about that. What is an example like? So tell me about kind of the science behind your coaching. What do you actually teach? I'm curious.
So in terms of my coaching, again, the main philosophy with training is is a high intensity, low volume approach to training. Okay. So the way I kind of program people's training programs is doing no more than either 1 or 2 sets per exercise.
Okay, wow.
Because at the end of the day, like what I'm trying to teach them is how to train hard, how to train to failure, close to failure. Because that is where you're going to make the most progress. Yeah. You're not going to make the most progress doing a bunch of 4 sets of warm-up sets. I mean, you will in the beginning, but this is why for me, my coaching program, it's more cornered to intermediate lifters. So people that are having that plateau. Okay. And because they're in the plateau, they've been trying to do the same thing they did in the beginning. Yeah. And what worked in the beginning is not going to work with your continuous progression.
And when does a plateau typically happen? A year, 6 months? When do you feel like
usually
you typically see this?
As a beginner, like if you're a beginner in the gym, it's about a year. Like in terms of my experience, I just did whatever for 8 months, made great progress, and then I kept trying to do the same things that I did in the beginning. Yeah. I did it for like a year straight, and I just didn't make any progress. Wow. So that's where I learned, okay, I had to do some research on it, and that's where I found there's this really famous bodybuilder, his name's Mike Mentzer, and he kind of took this guy named Dorian Yates, who's a 6-time Olympian bodybuilder, under his wing, and he really taught him the philosophy of, high intensity, low volume. And I really found that out, really kind of gave that some good research. I implemented that into my own training. Yeah. And I've seen fantastic results. I'm seeing results, obviously people are saying that I'm on fucking gear. And it's a good ego boost for me because I'm natural. But like at the end of the day, it's like that's where the gains are going to be made. That's where you're going to be able to maximize your physique if you train hard. And again, you train hard, you're going to build up your mentality as well. Because that takes discipline. Train to failure, like no one wants to go to failure. So if you can go to failure continuously, especially when you train legs, like that shit will help your mindset as well. Yeah,
because you're pushing through hard things all the time. You're getting used to that. Okay, I'm failing, but look, I'm showing myself that I can keep going. Yeah. So let's say I'm a client, right? I'm walking up to you first time. Yo, man, I just paid for. I don't know how it goes. Let's do a little. I kind of imagine for someone watching at home who wants to maybe be coached by you. I'm telling you, I'm a beginner. I want to, go into the summer looking good, whatever. I don't know how you kind of take your qualified leads, but what are the kind of things that you would put me through, walk me through, based off what you know, and why would you do those things with me? I'm curious.
So in terms of like me being
like a coach.
No, so like before I signed you or after I signed you?
After. So now I'm committed. So now you took me on as a client. Yeah. Now it's before we've done any workouts, nothing. Now I'm just whatever signed or whatever.
Yeah, I got you. All right,
now what happens?
So the first thing is, it takes a little bit of time to build all the programs. So I have to make your meal plan, your training program. I have to get you enrolled into the Next Level Gains course that I built over the summer, which in terms of that course, I pretty much gave.
Talk about the course, I'm curious.
Yeah, so over the summer, I was trying to think about a new way to kind of revamp my business. And I came up with the fact of I want to help intermediate lifters maximize their gains, going from beginner to intermediate to overcome that plateau. So I came up with 4 different modules that I think that would help them best. And those modules are mindset, training, nutrition, and lifestyle. So in each module, I have different lessons on how they're going to maximize that certain aspect of their life. How they're going to maximize their mindset, how to maximize their training, their nutrition, their lifestyle. We're trying to balance out going to the gym and also having a social life too. It's very important to do both because me, when I first started out, I didn't have that social life. So I was just really by myself, which is not good mentally because that fucks up a lot of social interactions that you have. So you have to kind of do a good job balancing out both. That's why I have the lifestyle module in there.
Yeah. Okay, and then how does this, so then what, an average client has to go through the module? Like you walk them, like
so pretty much every week I tell the people that I work with, watch either 2 or 3 videos from a specific module that I want them to focus on. Okay. And because some people that I sign, they already have a fucking locked in mindset. Like guy that I've been coaching since April, like this guy's like me, like he's got a great locked in mindset. So for him, because again, I signed him in April, I didn't have the course, but when I gave him the course, I said, okay, let's go through first the training module and then the nutrition module because his mindset was already locked in. I kind of like, depending on the person, I'll have them start off with a
more tailored kind of approach.
Because at the end of the day, some people already have locked in mindset.
True.
Yeah, so but at the end of the day, some people don't, and that's why it's there.
Yeah, so it's like you find what the person needs the most and focus mostly on that first and just kind of see where that goes. Yeah, man. I think again, you've been in the lab. I can tell with how this is going, and tell me how it's going in terms of like. I don't know if you can share your monetary, whatever you're comfortable with.
No, it's okay.
What is your prices look like? How's your business doing? I'd love to know because I think people want to hear, how is the business going as a whole?
Yeah, so for right now, the business is, taking a little bit of a hit because of school.
Senior year.
It pisses me off because in August I had my best month. I made 5.5K in August.
Let's go,
which for me that was pretty good because sometimes my mindset kind of fucks me up thinking that I can't accomplish something. So once I do it, then it's like, okay, I can do more.
Well, clearly if I can do this, and who knows, I probably do double that.
Yeah, so like my next goal is a 10K month.
Let's go.
But like right now, I'm steady between 3 or 4K per month. Like last month I made 3.5. This month I'm projected around 3.5, 4K. Okay. But like again, it pisses me off because
you want to do more.
I want to do more, and it's hard because I can only put my time and energy to so many things. Yeah. And sometimes I wish I was still a business major because the classes are so much easier.
Yeah. You have more time.
These science classes, you have every day. It's 2 hours unless you're fucked.
But then you're pushing yourself, as you said, to failure. You're pushing yourself to the end, so it's gonna help you out in the long run.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So then, how much is an average? So what? How does like the price model affect like your avenue per month? So is it like you have 12, 15 clients that each pay X amount of dollars per month? How does that
so
work?
The way I do my sales is I always start off with a paid in full investment. So like at the end of the day, so for me, my college discount works. I have 2 different investments. I have a regular investment for people that work full time. Also have a college discount because as someone is in school, I get it. Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
hard to invest into yourself in college.
The ramen noodle diet.
No, for sure. Yeah, but at the end of the day, for the college discount, what I basically do is I give them the paid in full, which is $600 paid in full. Yeah. And then If they feel like that's a little bit too much off the rip, then I have a month-to-month investment installment, which
Okay.
would be $250 per month.
Okay.
So the month-to-month in total value is a little bit more, but I know, especially for me, because I have my bodybuilding coach as well,
Yep.
I pay him per month because it's just easier for me to budget everything.
Yeah.
And same for my business coach. Like I pay my business coach a certain amount of money per month.
Yeah.
It's just easier to kind of budget everything.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, man. I think again now I'm curious to where it goes back to this whole business strategy. Like, what are the goals? So you said I know you want to move after you're done.
Yeah.
So what is the? You sound like a very vision oriented, creative person.
Yeah.
So before I even go there, I want to do this instead. So tell me how you really set this whole thing up. Because you said you did courses, you did X, Y, Z. So now let's say you're a fitness influencer trying to do this. What should they actually go and do? Not just me, the business coach, but like, what are the actionable steps someone can take to monetize something off their personal brand on Instagram?
I think the first things first is you have to understand what you bring to the table because there are so many fucking coaches these days. Like,
it's the whole meme now. Buy my online course.
Yeah, like there's a lot of coaches, a lot of people that try to post fitness content.
Yeah.
So you really kind of like think about, okay, what can I bring differently to the table?
Yeah.
And that's the first thing you have to understand. And once you understand that, then everything else is easy.
Yeah.
Because like making programs, making meal plans, making training programs, that's easy. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But like what's hard is like standing out. That's hard. So you have to really figure out, what's different, what you're different, what you can bring different to the table. And then once you do that, shit's easy.
Yeah. So how'd you figure that out? Was it like, what did you do to figure that out for yourself?
I just kept doing things. Like for me, like the way I found it is by just doing it every fucking day. Like when I first started out, I posted content every day.
Yeah.
And I just found what works. And at the end of the day, my content was a little bit different back in 2 years ago.
Yeah, I scrolled down. I saw some of the funny videos. Yeah, the intros.
Those kind of videos, that was a different place in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm again, like as much as that rejection hurt back in March of that girl,
Yeah.
like it really helped me kind of get more motivated to post different kind of content, actually post myself. Because I feel like for a long time, I didn't really post myself. And I feel like now I'm really just showing my personality every single day.
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, you got to find what's different. You got to find what works for you, but you also have to stand out. If you're just a generic guy giving a generic fitness advice,
of course,
unless you look like Chris Bumstead out here, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I heard he just retired. I just heard he's called it quits, man.
I think he did that the last time, but he came back.
Oh, okay, he's back now.
No. Well, last time when he won his 5th Olympia, I think he said that he was gonna retire.
Yeah.
But then he was like, "Fuck it, let me go again."
And then I just heard, I think, didn't it just finish though, where he just won again or something?
Yeah, he's 6 time. He's 6 time.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's craziness.
Is that you try to do that or no?
Nah. For me, I'm just trying to get, because at the end of the day, if you want to do that, you're gonna have to take some stuff, and I don't really feel like taking any steroids right now.
Gotcha. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I want to get as big as possible naturally. So like my kind of like avenue with like my physical realm is just try to get as big as possible in my 20s. And once my 30s hit, I want to kind of try more of like a fighting kind of avenue.
Like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Wrestling.
I really have a tendency to like try to fight. I don't know. It's like really in me to get some anger out.
Yeah. Find the way to channel that, right?
Because I feel like sometimes with bodybuilding, like I can only like because I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
It's hard to get anger out. So I got to find like new ways to get my anger out.
Yeah.
I feel like fighting can be one of them.
Hey, I feel like that's the most like kind of primitive, natural way to go and do that.
No, for
right?
sure.
So I guess that now I want to go more into like who you are instead of like obviously I think there's value into like your business and where it came from.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go back to later, but I wanted to kind of talk about you and like Charlie, the story,
Yeah.
the person, the passion, the gym, right? So you said like again that your journey was COVID was a big moment for you.
Yeah.
So now instead of talking about the past, I kind of want to talk about the future. You sound like you're a very ambitious person. You have all these goals. You don't want to be good. Let's say you want to be great. Let's say you want to be You want to be him. You really want to be like the number one, top 0.00001%. Tell me about that. What kind of vision do you have for yourself in the future?
The main vision I have for my kind of self is making money anywhere. That's pretty much it. Like I want to be able to like.
Is there a number you want to hit? Like is there goals you have?
No, I mean in terms of money, like like making 10K per month. Having a system where I'm making 10K per month, and doesn't matter how much money I'm making. If I have the ability to go anywhere and just make money, like if I wanted to fly to fucking Costa Rica, and just make money there for a little bit, like that's my goal, is having that freedom to kind of go anywhere and not worry having to like work for somebody, having to go into an office.
Yep.
I just that's the way
that
it just feels it feels wrong to me.
Yeah. Especially when you have like real value to give. Imagine being able to give that real value from anywhere in the world and kind of living on your own terms, on your own time.
Yeah, that's like the main thing. I always had that back in high school. Like because I remember the first job I worked, like I fucking hated it. And
what was your first job?
I was a retail worker at a uniform place.
Okay.
And I was basically like helping moms find their uniforms for their kids that go to private high schools.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was also like fucking lazy, so like I didn't really do a good job with it.
Yeah.
But like it just didn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
And then I also worked at it back in 2022, which is 2 years ago over the summer. I worked at a steakhouse. I was a dishwasher and a waiter.
Okay.
That was not bad because like you're actually interacting with people on a day.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad, but again, it didn't sit right with me. Just like kind of answering to somebody like that.
Yeah. What about that? Because I think we're very similar in that.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What about that? Because again, I don't want to ever come across like we're not saying a corporate job or that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
Different goals.
Yeah.
But what about you? Like, what was in those moments? What about you was saying, you know what, like, this is not for me?
I think it's ego. I think it's just like answering to somebody. It just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
I want to live life on my own terms because like we're gonna die one day. We got one life. Like I don't want to answer to somebody because like this is gonna go away. So I want to live the best life that I can live.
Yeah. And is there? No, I agree. I think that's facts. I think I'm the same way.
Yeah.
For me, I got to, again, I talked about this job I had before. I actually had a lot of funny jobs. My first job was at Chick-fil-A at Freehold Mall. That was my first ever job. Yeah. Then I worked in retail too. I worked for Express. I worked for Cotton On. And for me, I was trying to get a bag, man. When I was young, I just wanted a new pair of J's. I wanted, Sunglass Hut, the new Ray-Bans or whatever.
Yeah.
And as I got older, again, I still kept realizing that, like, I almost looked at things like stepping stones, right? It's like, what can I actually get out of this experience? So when I was in college, I had all these internships for DC United, Maryland Athletics, their sports department, for Bloomberg. Then I got my job for LinkedIn. And for me, it was, I kept realizing that I used them to get the most out of what I wanted, which was to learn a certain skill. So it's funny you talk about sales. Sales is my bread and butter. That's what I've been doing for the last 3 years. So it all started for me when I was at the University of Maryland. I started in sports marketing, and I personally loved it. I got to be on the basketball field, the basketball court, the football field, like during the games. I know we're a big school, right? So it's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
But then I realized, I don't want to just be helping out with marketing. I kind of want to be talking to more people because I'm a social guy. So I took that into the sales route. So then I started working in ticket sales for DC United. And it's a funny story, man. The year I was internship was during COVID, so it was in the spring. And that year, DC United is the MLS soccer team. They were the worst team in the league, and my job was to cold call season ticket holders and try to get them to renew.
Yeah.
Imagine I'm a fucking 20-year-old kid, get on the phone, and I have like 45-year-old men cursing at me out because they're like, wow, do we pay to see this shit-ass team come back? But then I was learning sales, right? How to do intros, how to build rapport, how to close, how to kind of get that next meeting, how to book demos, things like that. So that for a long, long time. Went to Bloomberg after that, similar thing than LinkedIn. And I looked at it as I'm trying to build valuable skills that I can take. And I never knew. If you told me I was going to be doing this 2 years, I would have laughed at you, man. Like, what are you talking about? Podcast, coaching? For real. I'm like, you're crazy.
You tell my 16-year-old self that I'd be posting on Instagram, it'd be wild.
No, me too. I'm like, dude, I'm on YouTube Shorts now, and I'm, doing some of these TikTok trends or whatever. I'm not saying it's like cringy, but, things that most people would do, even I wouldn't do, because I was also someone, I think a lot of kids when they're in school, unless you have a really, again, that kind of mentality, is at some point everyone cares what someone thinks. So for me, whether it's my friends, my family, the girl I like, whatever it is, I'm always like, I don't want to be doing, whatever trend.
My mindset is everyone's watching, so
Yeah.
fuck it, let them watch.
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't give a shit about like what people think about me. They're watching me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something that they probably couldn't do because they don't have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
That's the mindset.
That's real, and I think, again, that's how I feel now, man. I'd be, like, again, the kind of stuff I do now is even, like, right, talking to you, talking to whoever. I spoke to, who was I talking to the other day? I hear so many times, people, you can't understand certain accents, they don't like certain kinds of guests, whatever. So my last, because I had his name's Umang, he's from India, he went to Tokyo to go work after college, he came here. And people were saying, like, oh, I can't even, like, why would I watch a podcast, can't even understand, whatever. Or why are you doing this certain TikTok trend, you can't even do this, I'm doing all these different things. Yeah. And for me, again, I kind of just stopped giving a fuck. I was like, if I look at people that I mentors or kind of idols that I want to become, I have to do the uncomfortable things now. And I got to a point where in the very beginning, man, I posted, my first ever piece of short form content, my first Instagram reel, announcing the business. Yeah. And I was feeling, oh my God, who's liking it? Who's commenting on it? Oh my God. Because I've been planning this for so long. Yeah. And now I'm like, they see it, hey, good for them. Like, good for them, right? Yep. And I'm in the beginning of your journey, I feel like, because you've been doing this for what? When did you start posting like short form content and things like that?
October of 2020.
Okay.
So about
you've been in there for 4 years. So what are the kind of like the things that you've learned from this like content creator lifestyle? Because I'm sure someone asks you, oh, so Charlie, what do you do? You know, I'm a fitness coach. I make Instagram videos. So what is that? What was that whole kind of journey like for you in terms of, you know, kind of becoming a content creator? Right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, again, when I started posting, I was just posting because I saw someone else post their physique. They were getting all these likes. They were living a great lifestyle that I wanted to live. Like, they were, like, in a nice aesthetic place. That's where I want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, fuck it, let me post my physique. You know, at the time, I was only living for 8 months.
Yeah.
So I was shredded. I was a good physique, but I was, you know, still pretty small.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, let me start doing this and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just started posting because I saw somebody else doing it and I wanted to replicate that. I did not have a plan about any of this.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the plan.
Yeah. So how did, like, was there, okay, now I wanted to ask you this question. So
Yeah.
was there a specific moment while you were creating content, whether it's your first viral video or whether it was your first time you had this massive influx of followers?
Yeah.
What was the moment that took you from, you know, it's cool to post here and there, you know, this is dope, to, yo, I'm sitting on something right now?
Yeah, I think back in 2022, it was like in the summer of 2022, I took like a 6-month break from Instagram from September 21 to March 2021. A lot of shit happened during that. Like mentally, I was not in the right place.
Yeah.
And I got really sick, lost about 30 pounds.
Wow.
And I think it was like a moment where I think my dad came to visit me at school. And, you know, I love my dad. I love my dad. He's I love my, like, end of the day, like I had a great childhood because my dad worked fucking hard.
Yeah.
I loved him, but he didn't take care of his health, and he was, you know, unhappy with himself. And when I saw that in him, I saw someone that was kind of lived life with regret, and I kind of knew, like, okay, if I don't go back to this, I'm gonna live a life of regret. I'm gonna kind of make up excuses, like saying I could have done that, but I just didn't. So I was like, fuck it, let me go back. And once I went back, that's when I started really kind of taking off.
Yeah. So for you, it was a realization of, like, you kind of saw it with your own eyes. The person you maybe care about most in the entire world. It's like, I don't want to do that. It would not be fair to him if I didn't learn from that mistake.
See, that's
almost.
my the way I live my life a lot is like kind of learning my dad's mistakes and doing better.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of things that I do now, like keeping my body in check, you know, trying to be disciplined with every area of my life. Like I just learned, okay, he was great. He did a lot of great things, but you know, everyone could do better. So what can I do better that he didn't do?
Yeah. And what are some of those things that you try to, like, be the best you can at? What are some of those things?
I think because my dad was very emotional. He took a lot of emotion out of my mom. So I try to be as stoic as possible. Yeah. It's hard, obviously, because like life's fucking crazy. Shit gets thrown your way. Yeah. But I try to be stoic. You know, obviously I try to build up my, you know, my health in general because, you know, I don't want to be overweight when I'm 40 or 50. I want to live a long life and look fucking great. Yeah. So those are the two main things.
Yeah. I kind of want to go to the first one you said. Yeah. Stoicism. Let's talk about that because it's a confusing time right now where everyone's saying be more emotional, but there's a lot of people saying be a you know, stoic, be a man, whatever that means. So I personally really value the stoicism, but I think it's a hard thing to do for most people because I think humans are naturally emotional. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, for sure. And I think it's just how you channel the emotion because we're gonna feel shit. I mean, for me, for a long time, I didn't feel anything because I wasn't really putting myself out there until until that girl rejected me. That was like the first time I really felt a rejection, humiliation. Like I felt a lot of shit. Yeah. But like it's just how you deal with that emotion. Like that, I think that's what for me. That's what stoicism. Like it's just like
tell me about it.
It's just like you have you're gonna have emotion. You're gonna feel angry. You're gonna feel sad. You're gonna feel mad, happy, whatever it might be. But it's just how you put that emotion to use. Like if you're angry, are you yelling at somebody? Are you fucking going to the gym?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like you can only put that emotion to something. You should put it into something positive. Like, okay, if you're sad, are you gonna cry to somebody about your feelings? Or are you gonna, like, you know, do something, feel sad about, but do fucking work? Like you can choose what you do with the emotion that you have, but you just gotta fucking do it.
Yeah. And did you feel like you weren't stoic before you had this realization about your dad? Like what was that evolution of maybe outwardly emotional to outwardly stoic? What was that transition like for you?
I think back in high school, because my dad had a lot of anger issues, and I couldn't control my anger back in high school, like fucking playing fucking Fortnite in high school, chucking the controllers, breaking my Xbox and shit like that. Yeah. So, and there was a time, this was, I think it was when I was 19, or no, it was when I was 20, and when I was sick, and I was at my mom's house, and this is the last time I really got angry, and you know, I kind of like threatened to like hit her. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. And she cried. And once that happened, like that kind of shut that off.
Yeah, you were like, whoa.
Yeah, I got to keep this in check.
Yeah, what was that like? When you realized it in the moment, was it like when you were like afterward, like, oh my God?
It was after. Yeah. Not in the moment, it was after. I was like, okay, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm like acting how my dad acted.
Yeah.
Like threatened to hit her. Like at least, I mean, he did hit her, but like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I can't be like that.
Yeah.
I gotta be better.
And I think like that's why I'm like super impressed by that evolution. I think because again like, dude, it's hard, and I relate to you, man. Because even like for me, I always look at my family situation, and it's interesting because I always try to focus on like how, just like you, how can I make something better that in my mind is already good, but even some of the bad things like. For me, it's a challenge because for me, my parents are so different, and it's the funniest thing. Like my mom she's born in Africa, but she was raised here in America.
Yep.
And she's very Americanized, maybe not as cultured from like my normal, ethnic background. Yeah. Whereas, and she's very, outwardly emotional, things like that. Whereas my dad, he's, I think, kind of like what we talk about this whole stoic, doesn't really say much. Unless if he's around a big group, he'll talk. Yeah. But very quiet, will do work, and will make will sacrifice. Yeah. And it's been weird because it taught me a lot of things because when I was young, my dad was never around because he was the kind of guy where he wanted to make it work for my family. The only reason we live in this, house is it's a weird. I have a real relationship with that too because people will walk in and say, "You have such a nice house," and I kind of don't like that. I'm like, what are you trying to say? In a way,
I feel that.
But it's like I see all the work that he's done, and like people will just say like, "Oh, like cool cars, cool house. You must have been so easy." But it's like, dude, I told my dad I hated him like until I was like 16, 17. Like, and I actually like did purely because he didn't spend time at home. And I was like, I could have looked at that and, hated him forever or, been like, what can I learn from this? How can I like take the good things from what he did? But also maybe things that I don't want to be like that. How can I make that maybe a strength for myself? Yep. So it's just always a revolving balance. I think that evolves into like kind of everyone in their own lives too, because I always try to say like, especially when it comes to careers, kind of tie this back into what I'm doing in careers is like, you know that everyone's doing a certain thing and it's very, in our social media world, you see what doesn't work, whether it's your own family, right? Everyone has cousins or families or siblings or friends that are not getting jobs right now, right? Yeah. That's the thing now. The job market's so tough. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm sure your same advice would be, well, I don't think so. I think you just fucking suck at applying. I think you don't know how to do it. You're not trying hard enough. That's how I look at things now instead of saying, things are hard. So, yeah, man, I think when it comes to me, man, I think like it's so easy to not see things. I think ignorance is bliss for a lot of people. Yep. But I think when you really take a deeper look into like every single person in your life, every single experience you have, some are way in your face more than others. But those are things where, that's where you really learn, okay, this is what I have to do and how I can get better is by acknowledging, okay, this is what happened and how can I take that and apply it to myself and whatever I'm doing.
Yep. No, you can always get better at what you need to improve upon. So like, even when you said with like, it's like same thing with my dad, with your dad, like they do something like really good. Like your dad worked his ass off. Yeah. You're able to live in this house. Yeah. Same with my childhood. Like I lived in a great house just like this. Yeah. And cause my dad worked fucking hard. Yeah. But he wasn't there all the time. Yeah. And that did piss me off too.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But at the end of the day, it's like, you have to respect cause they did work their ass off. Yeah. That provided you that comfortable childhood that, so many fucking kids in America or so many kids in like third world countries, they don't get that. Yeah. So I was very thankful for the childhood. And I know you were too. Yeah. And, all we can do is, okay, appreciate the good, but then fix the, the bad that they have and be better with our own lives.
No, and that's exactly how I look at it. I look at it as like, in my family, I look at my dad as like, he's like kind of considered the GOAT. Like, it's funny because he's from like he's from India, not a third world country, but like third world conditions from where he grew up. Yeah. So he's someone not a lot of money in his background, like at all. Like he would, when he was living in India, he told me that one of his moments where he wanted to come to America, I asked him, what made you want to come to America? He came, he was like 28 years old. And he said when someone would come home, one of his uncles, he'd have on like a Coors Light T-shirt, and he would never see branding on a T-shirt his whole life. He's like, oh my God, there's Bud Light. I want to go to America. That's literally the kind of guy he was. Yeah. And he went from being this like kind of poor kid in India to freaking
like a G out here.
Being a G, literally a G. And it's like for me, it's like I want to do that, but even better. Yeah. And we live in a time now, bro. We're so blessed to be in like America. All these opportunities, go to the schools we've had to live and where we've lived. It's like the same way you're about your business. I'm the same way. It's like we will be doing a discredit to ourselves almost in a way where we're not living up to that potential we have. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say the fact that we literally have the ability to put ourselves out there on social media to build a business and have services is like ridiculous.
Make money for posting videos.
Like that's craziness. Literally. Like it's just craziness. Obviously, like on Instagram you can't make money directly off posting videos. Yeah. But if you build a following for yourself, you can sell a service. You
can sell things, exactly.
And it's just a blessing, like because it's like that was not an opportunity 15, 20 years ago. Yeah.
And it's like, why wouldn't we take advantage of the resources that we have? Yeah. Because even if let's say you're working a corporate job, right? Yeah. You can still use social media and leverage it and turn it into a business. Like I know some people on LinkedIn, man, who have like 50,000 followers on LinkedIn, and they'll just sell they'll do like, okay, here's the resume that I applied for. You know, pay me whatever $5 a month, and I'll send you every updated version of this resume.
Yep.
And now they're making a whole business off of something so simple like interview prep or resume helping, whatever it is.
Yep.
Into a whole, and it takes what, like an hour, maybe an hour of their day to do this kind of thing.
The main thing, I mean, with everybody, especially if you're younger, like build a personal brand for yourself. Like try your best to do it, because that is how you're going to be successful at anything.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this, like if you have a good following on anything and you're trying to be a physical therapist or a lawyer, whatever it might be, and you have some clout on any social media, that's going to help.
Yeah.
It's gonna help.
No, I agree. And I think that's the last thing I want to talk to you about is how, like, building your personal brand.
Yeah.
Going back to this whole Instagram virality growth and TikTok, I don't know really your story on growing on social media, but walk me through this building of, you know, who you are, the social media brand. Like, how did you make this a thing? Like, because I think it's so much easier said than done, right? Like, and some people try so hard. I'm trying so hard, but again, it doesn't come overnight.
Yeah.
How did you build your personal brand for someone watching at home? Let's say now someone's been watching for this hour or so it's been, and they're like, "Yo, like he can do it. I want to do. I want to make $5K a month."
But see,
doing what I do.
That's,
how can you
but
do
that's
that?
the mindset. Like if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Like
the how.
You just got to do it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, you just have to fucking just post. Like, you just have to post. So many people, they don't press the post button. I have a kid that goes to my fucking gym who looks goated. He's 18 years old.
Yeah.
But he tells me, like, you know, I don't want to post because I feel like people are always watching me. You know, I'm going to feel judged. I'm like, bro, let them watch. Do it. Just, like I said, the mindset needs to be everyone's watching. Put on a fucking show.
Yeah.
That's the mindset. So just fucking post. Just, you know, post what you want. Post who you are. I think for me, what I fell into the trap of is posting what did good on Instagram, like views wise. I wasn't really posting myself. Okay. So it was kind of hard to consistently make that content because it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So the content that I'm posting now, it's much easier to stay consistent with, and I enjoy it because
it feels like
I'm posting myself, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm someone who, like, for me, the way I am successful, a lot of things is I take it seriously, but like I tell my mind it's not a big deal. Because I feel like I put less pressure on myself when I do that. Okay. So like in the gym now, I'm fucking listening to white girl music, like Rihanna, Lady Gaga. And I'm getting better gains. I'm making videos about that, and it works because it's just who I am. It's just who I am. Yeah.
I think that's why probably people can connect to you so easily too. Because like, well, this guy's telling us, well, he's listening to some fucking Rihanna, some Black Eyed Peas. Well, I can do the same shit.
Yeah. So like for me, like because I kind of have been reflecting this over this past summer, because I remember in high school a lot of things that I did really good I took seriously, but like I just thought of it like it wasn't a big deal. That makes sense. Like I know this shit's a big deal, having a business, making money, like, you know, it's a big deal. But like in my mind, I tell myself it's not a big deal because at the end of the day, you know, you have one life. You're gonna just
it makes the failures feel kind of harder. And
yeah. So at the end of the day, what I would just tell you is, again, post, just fucking post. That's the main thing. And, you know, put yourself out there the way you want to put yourself out there. Yeah. And obviously, if you're trying to do a coaching, like, you know, make sure that you provide valuable content so people can go on your page and either get inspired by what you're posting or learn as much as they could from your services. They can learn on your page.
It's like if you can be valuable and entertaining, I think you kind of hit it on the nail there.
Yes,
right?
Yes. I think the way I balance out my content now is, you know, have some posts that are not really for coaching, just for kind of, I call it kind of quote unquote growth content, gaining more followers. Then I also have my content that's trying to like inspire people. Like I do some talking videos now actually one got 11,000 likes. I'm really proud about I'm really proud about that. But like some of them get like 300, 500 likes, not that many likes. But again, that for me is providing more value than just me flexing on a video. So that's the name of the game. Post valuable content and just fucking post.